Before you make this decision, listen to this urgent warning. Perhaps you think this is simply an ordinary medical procedure, something routine without particular consequences. But what if I revealed to you that behind something seemingly so simple could hide stakes much heavier than they appear? How many times in our rush do we fail to stop and reflect on choices that can affect not only the body, but also the soul and spirit? Understand clearly that this is not a call to fear, but to spiritual consciousness. There is an alarm signal that must be heard before any commitment, a message that arrives like a heavenly whisper for those who are truly listening. Because often, the difference between serenity and anguish lies in a moment of attention, in a gesture of vigilance, in a decision guided not only by what the eyes see, but by what the heart feels deeply. What you are about to hear now is neither invention nor exaggeration. It's a call to look beyond appearances, because everything that seems secure is not necessarily so, and everything that appears insignificant can have considerable repercussions. I am the Christ, your eternal guide, and now I tell you, a divine messenger has been sent to alert you concerning a medical treatment, for it carries consequences that you cannot yet perceive clearly. Know that the message I bring you is of absolute urgency and must not be dismissed as something unimportant. The heavenly messenger came to me in a vision that shimmered between light and darkness, and in his eyes I saw deep sadness mixed with insistence, as if heaven itself was bending down to whisper secrets reserved only for hearts that truly know how to listen. Perhaps you do not yet fully understand what awaits you, but the divine messenger revealed that this treatment, though it appears small and harmless, carries implications that go far beyond what simply touches the physical body. In the silence of the spiritual night, the messenger's wings cut through the air with a sound that resembled the trembling of destiny itself. And I understood that those who receive it without discernment can lock themselves in trials that were not destined for their soul. But the revelation did not stop there. The divine messenger showed me that this treatment carries hidden intentions that are not expressed by the mouths of men. On the outside, it resembles something clean and ordinary, but inside it transports a force capable of molding the mind, distorting perceptions and influencing decisions silently without the person realizing it. I've already seen entire generations stumble because they did not perceive the subtle movements of the spiritual world that reveal themselves only to the attentive heart. The messenger's warning did not come to frighten you without reason, but to show you a hidden path filled with choices that can define the health of body and soul. There will be people who will look at this treatment as something useful, a protection, or even a convenience. But behind this exists a hidden current, flowing like a river that passes through stone, opening spaces where shadow can settle, spaces that your soul will have to cross with great prudence. Before continuing this revealing message, write in the comments this protection mantra: I am protected by divine light. No harm can reach me. This simple act strengthens your spiritual shield and prevents any negative energy from approaching you. And my beloved child, what the messenger revealed next will touch your heart in a way you cannot yet imagine. I have walked beside you in spirit in moments of temptation and confusion, and I tell you, beloved, that the messenger showed me a vision of countless souls facing this decision without realizing that the consequences go far beyond what the eyes can see. The substance, though it appears minor, has the power to touch areas of the body that should not be disturbed. And more serious still, it can awaken fear, doubt, and a type of silent despair. If you feel you need divine discernment, write, I choose eternal light. The treatment, which seems simple and routine, has the power to break a delicate balance when there is no vigilance, because what enters the body can leave imprints on the mind, almost invisible, but of great spiritual weight. The messenger showed a force of subtle distortion, something capable of testing faith in ways that even the firmest would struggle to bear. I come to you, my chosen one, to reveal that this warning is not only a matter of conscience, but also of appropriate timing. There are moments when hesitation protects, and there are situations where prayer becomes a shield against consequences that seemed inevitable. The messenger spoke of invisible chains, of energies and intentions that flow like rivers under human perception. They are always ready to influence thoughts, emotions, and decisions. What I saw was not an immediate calamity, but a slow influence, almost imperceptible, that only those attentive in spirit could perceive before it becomes a burden. Even so, a single false step, an instant of carelessness, could open doors to persistent and silent forces, and the heart would become vulnerable without knowing why. The messenger showed me how this treatment could touch not only the body, but also the mind, affecting memory and the most subtle aspects of consciousness. I have seen apparently small choices transform into major impacts. The human mind, even if strong, could be pushed without realizing it towards doubt, fear, or even distance from the divine. The messenger spread his wings over souls in danger, reminding that protection exists, but only if the heart is willing to listen and act. My child, vigilance is not a burden. It is a gift, a channel through which grace flows and protects against currents that would go unnoticed. But even those with firm faith can face moments of confusion, moments when only divine direction is capable of restoring clarity and hope. I saw the messenger hovering above those who approached the treatment, whispering alerts in their spiritual space, but not all had their hearts open to listen. I tell you, beloved, that the invisible is as real as the visible. Beneficial and malevolent forces move in silence and often escape the unprepared mind. The treatment is not an absolute evil, but it carries possibilities that go beyond the physical. It can open space to subtle manipulations of will and changes in connection with the sacred. The messenger showed his hands raised in protection, like a shield of prayer and consciousness that can guide the faithful amid uncertainty. If you believe prayer is your protection right, I choose to watch in the light. The messenger then revealed something even deeper. Layers of hidden intentions behind this treatment, far more complex than the human mind can understand. I saw intertwined energies, some wanting to nourish, others wanting to deviate. And in the midst of this tangle, clarity can only be found with prayer, attention, and faith. Even when it seems a routine act, the waves it generates reach not only the body, but also the mind, touching invisible but deeply felt areas. The messenger reminded me that divine discernment is the compass that shows the safe path, guiding each choice with precision that goes beyond any human calculation. But the alert was clear: if this call is ignored, consequences will come in a subtle and persistent way, difficult to perceive or reverse once rooted. I saw the messenger trace the path of influence over time, showing how a single decision could trigger currents that would affect not only the person, but also the world around them. Beloved soul, no decision exists in isolation. Each act generates waves in life, in thought, and in spirit. The messenger's presence is the reminder that prayer and vigilance are shields that protect not only you, but also those who cross your path, even without realizing it. This is why the warning is urgent. Even small negligences can give space to forces that plant doubt, confusion, and weakening of the soul. The messenger showed me the depth of what can happen if hearts do not act with consciousness. This is a truth that challenges even the firmest faith. I saw how clarity could be lost, how emotions could be altered in silence, and how spiritual connection could weaken. But the messenger also reminded me that divine guidance is never distant. It only requires cooperation, a heart willing to listen and remain firm. I saw moments when protection was available but was ignored, and then subtle currents began to interweave in lives like invisible threads, until forming patterns impossible not to perceive. The messenger whispered about a challenge that comes, a test that will require courage beyond the ordinary. My chosen one, I come to remind you that even the smallest decisions can open doors that the human eye does not see. I saw the messenger hovering above those about to receive with wings open, like a silent call to attention and care. If you feel you must remain firm, right, I choose unshakable faith. Beloved, I tell you, the messenger showed me the connection between spirit, mind, and body, and how treatment can affect this balance when vigilance is lacking. I saw subtle changes in energy, in perception, and in emotional clarity, like thin threads of influence entering silently into the fabric of the soul. These disturbances are rarely immediate or obvious, but the cumulative effect can be profound. They reach choices, intentions, and even the heart's alignment with divine will. I saw moments when prayer and attention acted like lighthouses, preserving clarity and connection with heaven. But even so, small negligences could open space for forces to move unnoticed, preparing challenges that require extraordinary faith to overcome. I come to you, my chosen one, to affirm that the messenger's alert is a sign of love and protection. No moment of danger passes unnoticed in the heavens. I tell you, beloved, this treatment carries weight beyond appearance, and the subtle currents it can generate in the mind are often perceived only when they have already created roots. The messenger revealed that vigilance, prayer, and attunement with the divine are the keys to safely navigate through these currents. In silent moments, the messenger's whispers are present, asking for consciousness and discernment in every decision. However, there is a force that moves so subtly that it passes almost unnoticed. What I saw next requires maximum attention and care, my child, because though invisible, its influence is real. And if this revelation already touches your heart in some way, consider supporting this mission by clicking Super Thanks. This gesture of affection helps us keep alive this mission of bringing words of light to those who need them most. If you believe God guides you right, I choose to discern with wisdom. The messenger showed me how influence can go beyond the individual, spreading like waves. It reaches families, communities, and even leaders, inattentive to invisible forces in action. I saw hearts darkened by uncertainty, small deviations in judgment, and moments when clarity is lost if divine direction is ignored. My child, the messenger's presence reminds that watching is not only for you, but also for those connected to your life. I saw moments when faith illuminated paths darkened by doubt and pressure. However, if gentle warnings are despised, occult currents may interweave in histories difficult to undo later. I observed, beloved, the messenger hovering above one who was about to receive the application. It is a reminder that divine care does not absent itself, but requires cooperation. This treatment has potential to touch heart, mind, and soul alignment, and even a small lapse of attention can deform understanding and trouble discernment. My child, the invisible world is as real as what you see. The messenger's vigilance is an invitation to align with divine direction before continuing. And then came something even more urgent. A deep reality that cannot be ignored without cost. The messenger revealed subtle cracks in the mind, almost imperceptible. I saw thoughts changing tone, intentions becoming nebulous, and the heart being distracted from connection with heaven, like a gentle wind that spreads seeds of doubt on firm ground. This is why the alert is urgent. Subtle influences without correction accumulate and bring consequences that the human mind does not foresee. I saw prayer and divine attention act like the sun, bringing clarity and alignment. But I also saw distraction allow shadows to slowly enter perception. Even vigilant hearts will be tested in patience and faith. And what comes challenges understanding of what spiritual protection is. I observed, my chosen one, the messenger crossing the boundary between visible and invisible, guiding those who listen and gently pushing those who do not yet perceive. This treatment can influence mind, emotions, and soul balance. The messenger's role is not to generate fear, but to illuminate paths that require discernment. Occult currents can be subtle and cunning, almost invisible to those who depend only on eyes. I saw threads of influence extending, touching lives in non-immediate ways, but leaving marks on mind and intention that can last years. A pattern of silent entanglements that can tangle even the faithful. Before continuing, write in the comments, "My mind is protected by celestial force. Nothing can corrupt it." This affirmation seals your mental protection and dissolves any attempt at negative influence. If you feel you need protection, type, "I choose to watch and pray constantly." The messenger showed how the mind's rhythm can be disturbed with small misalignments felt as anxiety, doubt, or confusion. I saw hearts without prayer and consciousness being inclined, without noticing towards decisions that seem logical, but arise from occult forces. Divine direction is present, however it requires openness. I saw the messenger extend wings of protection, but the shield only works when the soul decides to align with heaven. There are consequences that even the strongest will struggle to cross. This is why I remind you, small actions have spiritual weight, and this warning is an invitation to walk with consciousness. The currents linked to this act are not immediate disasters, but gradual influences that reshape perception, emotion, and alignment with the divine. Vigilance, prayer, and discernment are not burdens, but instruments of protection for the soul. Even brief distractions allow influences to enter unnoticed. Ignoring these warnings can initiate subtle yet profound consequences that spread in ways the heart is slow to understand. The messenger shows the spiritual importance of this subject. It touches the body, but also the harmony of mind and soul. Energies interact with the soul persistently, affecting emotion and clarity. The messenger's presence guarantees protection exists, but it depends on attention, prayer, and discernment. I saw moments when divine direction prevented influence from creating roots. I saw vigilance preserve clarity and alignment with divine plan. However, even the faithful, if inattentive, can suffer spiritual disturbances. I observed my chosen one, the messenger, as a silent sentinel, hovering above one who considers receiving without discerning. Ignoring the warning has real consequences, sometimes not immediate but certain. I saw doubt, confusion, and discreet misalignment enter slowly, like a whisper that becomes a persistent voice in darkness. Faith and vigilance are keys to cross these currents safely. I saw prayer, attention, and alignment preserve sharpness of vision. But those who neglect these practices open space for influences that affect choices, bonds, and spiritual well-being gradually. If you believe God keeps you right, I choose the light of eternal Christ. The messenger revealed something even more severe, capable of testing even the firmest devotion. One must listen with attentive heart. Negligence can alter perceptions, influence intentions, and open breaches for forces that distort mind harmony. I saw souls continuing without protection of prayer and consciousness. Even when substance seems neutral, spiritual effects can be profound, touching heart, mind, and relationships in ways difficult to trace. I saw the messenger extend wings over those who listen, a shield that only works when the heart aligns with heaven's direction. I also saw an outcome that challenges the most faithful, a moment when only unshakable trust preserves clarity and hope. The effects of ignoring warning unfold in emotional and spiritual turbulence, doubt, confusion, and silent discouragement, trying to create root. The messenger's vigilance is divine care. I saw prayer as light on the path, and I saw negligence allow shadows to twist perception, trouble judgment, and weaken soul alignment with heaven. Divine protection is real, but requires cooperation, attention, discernment, and faith. Even brief negligence can be exploited by opportunistic forces. The messenger showed me cascading effects of ignoring the alert. A single choice triggers events that go beyond the moment. Influence spreads like underground current, touching emotions, perceptions, and spiritual alignment without warning. Vigilance is shield, prayer is light, and consciousness is the channel where protection flows. I saw moments when these three preserved clarity, but I also saw they must not be taken for granted. There are forces that exploit every breach, There exists impact so profound it can test faith. The heart must remain firm or be carried away by the tide. This warning awakens, it does not frighten. Ignoring occult influence can generate small ruptures in thought, emotion, and alignment with God, gradually corroding clarity and bond with divine. I saw the messenger hover with open wings, asking vigilance and attention. Protection comes when the heart aligns with heaven's direction. My child, prayer, discernment, and faith are your shields. Even small lapses can invite influences that reshape perception and intention. A moment of reckoning approaches. It will require not only consciousness but courage. What comes can alter destiny's course profoundly. Now I tell you, the messenger revealed exact moments when discernment is most necessary, precisely when the heart is most vulnerable to subtle influence. I saw those who followed without consciousness, mind oscillating slightly, intentions being deviated little by little. Divine direction is in every breath. It is in every hesitation, in every decision, but it needs your cooperation to be fulfilled. I saw prayer and attention form barrier of clarity, repelling occult forces. The messenger whispered about choices made without prudence. They initiate sequences that test every fiber of faith. I observed the messenger map, small circles of influence born from negligence. They affect person, family, community, and even those who lead. Influence runs like water, entering invisible cracks and molding thoughts with insistent gentleness. The messenger alerts, illuminates, does not force. I saw moments when attention and prayer opened safe passages, but I also saw those who followed without listening and hearts moving away from clarity. There is a plot so intricate that only firm faith succeeds in navigating without shipwreck. The messenger's instructions are subtle and precise, like discreet wind before storm. Write in comments, "My faith is my shield. No dark force can shake it." This declaration strengthens your spiritual armor and repels any attempt at energetic manipulation. If you feel signal in heart, type, "I choose to obey God totally." I saw signs that seem common to unprepared eyes. Hesitation in chest, persistent discomfort, repeated warning in conversations or circumstances. These are invitations to stop and ask direction before acting. Heaven sends these signals all the time, but many only trust appearances. Those who heard gentle touches avoided entanglements that shook mind, body, and soul. Those who ignore whispers risk entering path where influence passes unseen until it fixes. This is why I insist, it's not just about avoiding, it's aligning with God's design for your life. Each pause to seek clarity fortifies shield around you. Even small hesitations, united with prayer, have prevented subtle distortions from lodging in heart and mind. Watching is not fear, it's empowerment. It's crossing invisible currents with wisdom and grace without losing course. Those who act without consciousness can face delicate challenges, testing spirit resilience in ways mind does not foresee. Consequences appear slowly, like waves in tranquil lake, touching thought, emotion, and spiritual clarity without fanfare. And those who receive without attention go noticing silent exchanges in perception. Though I saw that messenger's presence is call to vigilance. Small attention breaches create doors for forces that desire to influence soul. Prayer and discernment restore access, but error margin is narrow and risks greater than many imagine. Nevertheless, there is hope and protection. The messenger instructed me to reveal concrete actions for your protection. Pause before consenting. Ask for clarity in prayer. Observe signs heaven places before you. In these moments, hesitating is not weakness, it's wisdom. Consciousness opens space for divine protection to manifest fully. I saw discreet signs, cold in chest, worrying thought, counsel repeated by reliable voices. These are landmarks to respect. Messenger interventions on your path. Recognizing and following these instructions aligns your mind with heaven's protection. Ignoring single signal can complicate discernment and faith. The messenger showed me how to interpret these signs. Gentle touches, almost imperceptible, momentary weight in heart, warning that returns constantly. Those who despise them risk seeing intentions redirected, judgment troubled, and spiritual balance shaken. Key is attention, stopping, praying, and listening deeply. I saw Messenger hover and offer protection, but Shield operates when you respond with faith and discernment. Even attentive ones must act. Invisible currents move quickly, and hesitating at wrong moment creates difficult barriers later. Act when signs appear. Don't trust appearances. Seek direction in prayer. These steps are simple and powerful, aligning your heart with divine protection and keeping mind clean. Those who acted with attention avoided subtle influences, preserved thought lucidity, emotion harmony, and alignment with God's design. Following these instructions creates shelter place where heaven acts to protect and guide. If promptness lacks, doors open for effects reaching spirit, mind, and future, requiring courage and resilience. And if this profound revelation has touched you, if you feel these words resonate with your soul, consider supporting this mission with gesture of affection. Click Super Thanks. Your support allows us to continue bringing light messages to those who need them most. Messenger's final message is alert and hope. Recognize signs, act with consciousness, and pray with faith. I saw that those who follow this path are kept, protected, and guided, even amid most subtle currents. Your steps remain illuminated by divine light. Heaven does not abandon those who listen. Messenger's presence is a reminder of love, vigilance, and care. Clarity comes when orientation is obeyed. Nevertheless, there is final weight. Only those who act aligned with divine counsel fully experience peace and clarity that exist beyond shadows. I tell you with love and certainty, those who lend ear to Messenger, observe signs and decide with prayer, remain under my eternal protection, my child. I did not come to frighten, but to guide, illuminate paths invisible to eyes, and keep your mind aligned with heaven. Even in confusion, doubt, or fear, divine direction envelops you like fortress of light. No occult force takes you when faith and vigilance are practiced. I saw Messenger's wings open over faithful, creating sanctuary of protection, clarity, and peace. Path ahead may have shadows and uncertainties, but those who walk attentive, discern, and trust my direction are never alone. Your spirit remains guarded by eternal and unshakable love. If you believe God protects you right, I choose to remain in eternal light. And now, dear beloved ones, if this revelation has touched your heart, if you feel these words have resonated with your soul, I warmly invite you to join our spiritual community. Subscribe to this channel of light, for together we form family united in faith and search for divine truth. Share with us in comments. How has this revelation touched your life? What spiritual experiences have you lived that resonate with this message? Your testimonies illuminate path of other souls seeking guidance. If this message brought you clarity, peace, or discernment, tell us what you learned and how it transforms your spiritual vision. Your sharing can be key that opens another person's heart to divine protection. Together, we build network of light, community where each testimony strengthens collective faith and where each shared experience becomes blessing for all. Type Amen to claim divine blessings now and seal this eternal protection over your life.